Yeah.
Alrighty, cool. We're recording. So for review today, I'm going to share some changes to the UI for the app array control, or also part of the slideshow. And then James is going to go over some offline stuff. Or wait, was it?
It's not offline.
Oh,
it's player stuff.
Player stuff. I apologize. Okay, presenting that. All right. So, so change that happened. I know I'm on the wrong. Let me do this way. Yep. Hmm.
While he's doing this, I'll mention that the updated branding will be in production.
Yeah.
This weekend.
Yep. So I'll have the new branding. That's cool. Let's see here. Almost got it. Cool. So in the slideshow now, we have a bunch of new stuff. So because we wanted to really drive the point home about dragability, we have this icon on the right that indicates up, down for dragging. The cursor changes to up, down for dragging. And we have a index value in the bottom left here with each one, so you can, be real clear about, where that is in the sequence. We still have the subsettings bit. We actually added an option. It's a developer option that you can enable through the manifest, where you'll be able to open this if you have a large amount of, and that won't be called subsettings, I apologize, but if you have a large amount of settings, like per item, it can open in a dialog instead. And then jumping back over here, forgive the old UI. If I want to add a bunch of content here.
I'm sure he's got a dialog box open.
Yeah.
I can't see it.
Oh, yeah. That's easy. So I'm going to drop in these files here. And what we have now is the ability to up in there. That's weird. Of course, it has to go wrong in a demo. Why is it not? You can cancel uploads now. So I'm not sure. I might pass it to James and then back to me again. But we have the ability now to cancel uploads that are in progress. So, and some other various cleanup to show like how many uploaded items there are. It now indicates number of pending uploads. Yeah, that's about it. I'll see if I can show it, but I'll pass it to James for a second.
Can I just ask a question quick? If something were to error out, would that show up as well?
It should, yeah.
Okay.
On the previous screen, the drag button, does that actually do anything, or is that's just a visual indicator?
The drag button. Let's see. Hold on a second.
Are you talking about the up-down arrows?
Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
Yeah, you can drag to reorder them. You've always been able to do that. We just changed the iconography there to give you error.
Okay, just the visual. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so visual choice. What's that?
Instead of the grippers stops.
Yeah.
Is the grippers falling away as a standard? Because it's pretty widely used.
I thought so, but there was other people didn't agree, so I was okay with the grippers. I'm really, if we want to put out a poll, I'm fine with going to either. It really doesn't matter to me. But yeah, I mean, either way. So let's pass it to A/B tested. Pass it to James here. You ready?
You're also showing the duration of a video.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're also now showing, if you look, the duration of videos here in the next to their thumbnail. So that's cool. Let's see. Let me present James. Okay.
All right, so wait up a little. Can you see the top of my?
I don't know.
I can't see it on the green.
Your screen
Can people see my URL bar?
Yeah, I think you can. Let me see. Yes, I can see your URL. Yep.
Okay. On that screen, it's green. I hope it's not recording. Okay, so one of the things we added is, you know, to try to support better convergence and being more embeddable in other systems, is some more enhancements into what can be put into the URL parameters. So, you know, you could put in consumer app credentials, but you would have to specify a bootloader, which was a really low-level concept in our system. So now you could use consumer app credentials in the URL and select an experience by UUID, and even an app inside of an experience by the app's key, and have that player basically set for whatever playback the experience is set for, or play an app directly from an experience. And so I will, I'm gonna open one of these magic URLs, and then we can look through what's in here. So I have a UUID and an API key in here, and so these are, you can't see on that screen up there, but there's a UUID and an API key in here. And those are the consumer app credentials, which I got through the UI. So this player is not a device, it is a consumer app. So I could have as many of these as I'd like in my organization. So for screensavers, whatnot, I don't know what video this is. Screensavers, stuff like that, we can support direct from URL. And you can see what's driving the playback here. If I remove this, line, it's just a consumer app that boots the player, and there's an error here that shouldn't be there that we'll have to clean up. But but adding this experience parameter back in, this is the UUID of an experience that I took from the experiences page. And so this is playing whatever the scheduled content is in that experience. So in addition to this, we can also, I'll go to the very end of this long URL parameter, and we can add a key, which I guess is telling me that this URL has the key in it. Okay. We'll go back. So what was scheduled here in this experience is this target and these things. So this is another app in the same experience. There's two apps in here. The top slideshow is scheduled, the other one isn't. So if I click on this, we'll make it easier to pull this out, but there's a key for this application. And this is, of course, a very developer-y thing to do. And so if I put this key directly in the URL, I can play that application directly, rather than it using the whatever scheduled in that experience. So you can imagine adding multiple apps for different types of devices and using consumer app credentials to drive screensavers or just driving screens by URL in another content management system. So I think it's really you know, a big step for convergence.
If you put in an app identifier from an app that wasn't a part of that experience but another experience, what would happen then?
You'll just get a blank page. It'll give you an error state.
Okay.
Yeah. Keys are scoped within an experience, so you would have to provide the experience as well. But beyond this is something that we've started a while ago. We added different pieces to this, so there's a whole bunch of different parameters. Like you've been able to specify authentication credentials in the URL for a long time. Then you could specify the bootloader app, which is the one that determines how it gets its schedule and what experience to play and all that other stuff. But now we've taken it beyond that so that you can actually pick a specific experience, and then not just a specific experience, but also an app within that experience. Consumer app credentials were added a little while ago, but weren't super helpful without a custom bootloader. This makes them way easier to use and makes it so that they can participate in experiences that other devices can participate in. The big caveats to this are consumer app credentials on a player still are limited to the consumer app security. So they won't receive the device fling events. They won't receive any kind of private channel events. You would have to have custom events that listen for specific consumer app events. So it's still separated, it's still secure. The other side to this is you're seeing James use query parameters with the question mark. This is also supported with hash parameters by using a hashtag. The big difference there is hash parameters don't get sent to the server. And that means that the credentials that end up in the URL aren't sent over the wire. What happens through our normal authentication system is that we use the key as like a private key, like a secret or an API key, and it generates a token that gets exchanged for authentication. So this doesn't break that paradigm at all. If you use the hashtag, it will keep it on the device, and you won't have to worry about going over the wire.
And all this will be documented on our docs portal?
Yep.
Now, I could be off base here, but when it comes to things like licensing, at one level, EXP is a developer platform, and the lowest common denominator is usage-based pricing. And I don't mean lowest in the sense necessarily of worst, but that's sort of the fundamental that you can always rely upon. But if you think about how in EXP you can count how many players you have and manage those players, and now you're connecting through consumer keys, quote unquote, for any screensaver, it feels like we've lost a bit of control, or maybe we've lost some control we never had.
No,
We made it easier. This already existed.
Yeah, this was control that we never really had anyway. This was already, it was already possible for you to use consumer app credentials in any page and create your own player. So it was already there. The other side, the flip side to this is the requirement for being able to use schedulable apps within enterprise. Is unless you have a single device for each frame or frame in a channel, unless you have a single device paired for each of those, you can't have multiple of them playing. So using the consumer app credentials solves both of those areas.
Yeah, and so what I will say that there is the usage based, but this is what we would call a connection, right? So this is even though it's not a device, it's still a connection to the system. So there's another something there. I sort of maybe we'll chat outside of the on air.
Yeah, we can go over that over retro because I think that's a topic that we probably needed to talk about for a long time. Which is, we've had this functionality for a long time and it's been influencing our opinion on the pricing model, but I don't think anyone actually realized the implications of it until we show it to them. So I think that's what just happened.
Well, let me
I
go
would
back
say
to
just a super short comment, which is that when you look at EXP as a sort of pure platform for developers that's doesn't have a differentiated customer specific or market specific purpose, then usage-based pricing is attractive. When you have something which is a verticalized product like a digital menu board or like a screensaver or like a airport flight information system or signage for retail, that's when we can talk about a pricing model that's based on per location or per device more easily. So in the context of an app, of a solution, it's easier, and I don't mean like a customized thing, in the context of a repeatable product solution, it's easier to talk about pricing that's not usage-based.
It could also be stood up separately and then handled by having its own exception and rule set, which we can handle.
Yep, yeah, but it would just, there are implications if we end up, for example, undercutting the revenue of potential screensaver.
All right.
So it's not as simple as saying,
Let's
well,
get there first, right? I mean, we have zero revenue from screensavers.
Just add a couple zeros, it'll be fine.
that's not a counter argument to avoiding the undercutting problem.
So the thing I wanted to make sure that I showed before we wrapped up here, and then we'll go off air, is the upload drawer. So if I bring this in here, mess of files, now I have the ability to hover and then cancel something. So I'll cancel these guys, and I get a toast that says the upload was canceled. And this is a thing that's been on George's list since he uploads lots of large files that he can't cancel midstream. So, and we have, I don't know if you guys noticed, but when it was in flight, it would say how many were still in progress, and then now that they're all finished, it says how many are complete.
Wow.
So
Cancel one, does that score as complete, or does it just as
it scores as, it does not count as a completed item now if it's canceled. So, what is that? You wanted to?
Why would it?
Yeah.
I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
I've met developers who think that that's complete.
No. No,
I'm
that's,
glad you're not one of
The
those.
transaction is the transaction.
no. There's like 13 and 11 uploads complete is what it says. So cool. Alrighty. So I think I'm gonna go off air then, and thanks for watching.